Yeah. Pew Research released some new data saying that the share of Republicans who say presidents could operate more effectively if they did not have to worry about so much about Congress and the courts increased 16 percentage points over the past year, from 27% in March of 2018 to 43% this past July. I want to read that one more time. The share of Republicans who say presidents could operate more effectively if they did not have to worry so much about Congress and the courts increased 16 percentage points over the past year, from 27% in March to 43% this past July, according to Pew Research. In other words, 43% of Republicans are okay with a dictatorship. Now, I guarantee you that, well, obviously you saw it increased already since Donald Trump's been in office, which means it was a lower percentage, even lower percentage when Barack Obama was in office. Now, I think I can find this clip, a clip of this lady who said, in front of Steve Bannon, she said, "I never thought that I wanted a dictator, but if I was going to have one, I want it to be Donald Trump."
Never in my life did I think I would like to see a dictator, but if there's going to be one, I want it to be Trump.
And included in the audience clapping and applauding was Steve Bannon, one of the chief strategists for the president, one of the former chief strategists for the president of the United States, who's actively working and lobbying on his behalf outside of office. Steve Bannon. Everyone knows who he is. So here we are. Republicans are increasingly okay with the idea of a dictatorial Trump. I mean, what do you even do with that? Well, first of all, you have to understand, number one, politically, do not waste a single moment trying to convert Republicans. If it just so happens that you convert one because they were listening to what you were saying, so be it. But don't make it a strategy to cater to people who would just as soon see Trump become a dictator than to ever see a Democrat get power again. And it's not even issue based, right? We're far beyond the point of people arguing over issues from the Republican side. We're literally talking about a group of people who have created an entire fantasy world, an entire conspiracy theory fantasy world to explain every typo that the president makes. There's an entire movement, Q, where they have an explanation for every typo, meaning a secret message from the president to his support base. That's where we are. And now 43% of Republicans, even those that you think are normal. That's the thing. Even some of the people that you think are normal are now saying that they would rather have a president, that he could be more effective if he didn't have to worry about Congress or the courts. We cannot assume for a moment that 2020 is going to go the way that we think it's going to go in terms of a peaceful transition of power. And the remedy to that, not what I mean by that, but the remedy to that is galvanizing a movement so big that it cannot be denied or disenfranchised, so that when not just the million people, but when 5 million people show up in Washington, D.C. and utterly shut the place down after they've gone to vote, after there's a definitive election victory, electoral college victory, the people will have to get in the streets or be willing to get in the streets, because we're dealing with the phase in American history that we've never been through before. We've been through periods of hyperpartisanship. That's nothing new. We've been through periods of propaganda. That's nothing new. But we've never had this perfect storm where you have a president who is willing to go as far as the people will allow him, and you have people who are so deluded and so drenched in their hyperpartisanship that they were just waiting for someone like Donald Trump to implement their wildest dreams.